Roll.
Okay, I'd like to go with the order, students and flag, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Alex.
Mr. Vogt. Here. Mr. Chapman.
Here.
Mr. Farinella.
Here.
Mr. Giannakis.
Here.
Mr. Miller.
Here.
Mr. Pender.
Here.
Mr. Sesselberg.
Here.
Mr. Cassio.
Here.
Mr. Panisi.
Here.
In accordance with the terms of the Sunshine Law, adequate notice of this meeting was posted in all school buildings, the administration building, borough clerk's office, public library, 4 newspapers, and tapped into on January 5th, 2023. Please be advised there is no smoking on school grounds, inside or outside at any time. Please silence all electronic devices, and pursuant to district policy number 0167, each statement made by a participant shall be limited to 3 minutes duration, and no participant may speak more than once on the same topic.
Thank you. Moving on to superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Panisi. I held a preschool parent meeting last week. The meeting was to announce that the preschool expansion grant would be voted on tonight and approved. This expansion grant will allow the district to offer free preschool to our South Plainfield residents ages 3 and 4. There are no open seats for this year, 2022-2023 school year. The next year, we will be moving our students to the Riley Annex with 13 classrooms. This will allow for a minimum of 60 3-year-olds and 64-year-olds. However, 31 of the 4-year-old spots will be taken as those students are currently enrolled in the 3-year-old program. I will hold a community-wide meeting about the program in April and open registration for the lottery in May of 2023. Once the spots are filled, we will have a lottery waiting list. Each year, the district is required to expand the program, and we will do that, offering more spots each year until we have enough open spaces for all of our preschool age students. We are currently working on the 2023-2024 school year budget. Our top priority is ensuring that we hire well-qualified faculty and staff for our wonderful programs and intend to add additional positions for faculty to meet the needs of our growing population. Our large project this year is the preschool annex. However, we will be allocating funds to continue upgrading our facilities and fields as well. Food service. Some of our families have been receiving phone calls and emails regarding their outstanding lunch balances. It is important that you respond to the calls and emails. If you need assistance regarding the lunch balances, please contact your child's guidance department counselor, or you can apply for free lunch by visiting the district website. In addition, the district is offering several tutoring programs before and after school. The high school and middle school have several programs supporting mathematics beginning next week. All the remaining schools will be offering hours in many of the subjects over the next couple of weeks. Please check your email so that your child doesn't miss the opportunity for additional support. Thank you.
Moving on
Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. Ms. Molesky, it's data time.
You mean party time? Okay, tonight we're going to be reviewing the Start Strong scores from fall 2022. Mr. Piscola is just putting them on the screen. Thank you for your help tonight. As you know, the district took Start Strong in fall of 2022. The purpose of this assessment was to be a diagnostic marker point for all of our students at the start of the school year. This assessment is meant to complement what already happens in the classroom. So none of this factors into students' graduation, none of it factors into placement for any sort of academic track. It really is data that's available to teachers immediately upon completion of the assessment so that teachers can use that to design instruction and to recognize what standards may have been missed the prior school year. So in speaking about that, Start Strong tests last year's standard information. So for English language arts, those students in grades 4 through 10 took the content standards for the previous year. So grade 4 took grade 3 standards. That's how it helps teachers understand what may have been missed or what students are already excelling in. The same thing is for mathematics, except that we break into subject-specific courses in high school for Algebra 1, Algebra 2, and Geometry. And then science is also tested for grades 6, 9, and 12. This is our district breakdown overall. There's 3 categories for scoring. The light purple is strong support may be needed. The mid-range is some support may be needed. and then the dark purple is less support may be needed. This is how our district stands. Again, you don't get comparative data regarding other districts because it's truly meant as a classroom assessment for teachers and for us at the district level to recognize any sort of trends that may reflect on curriculum needs or pacing guide needs. There's also data broken down here by grade level. I'm going to just keep going through. This will be on the website if anyone would like to see it in detail. And then for 4th grade, a breakdown for how our schools are doing in each of our elementaries. You also have demographic data, specifically for gender, ethnicity, students with disabilities, English language learners, and then other demographics. Sorry. To summarize, from those assessments, all of this happened already in September. Teachers have the reports immediately upon release. We do have intervention strategies across the district, specifically looking at district level curriculum, planning, and revisiting prerequisite concepts and skills so that it helps us as educators look through what our students really need and design instruction moving forward that way. Also evaluating scope and sequence district-wide, grades 3 through 12, to understand how our curriculum is best meeting the needs of our students, how to better provide scaffolding and resources for the students in the classroom. And then it's also a jumping off point for parents. We were able to have the scores uploaded into Genesis under the Documents tab. So rather than mailing the scores home, parents have immediate access to those upon release, so they're all in Genesis. And they're also available under the Students Assessment tab. That's everything, thanks.
See, there's. We don't have it for tonight? Okay. So we don't have that. Okay, moving on. Agenda additions or deletions? Okay, public comments on agenda items only. See none? Can I have a motion to approve prior ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Vogt,
Yes.
Mr. Chapman,
Abstain.
Mr. Farabella,
Yes.
Mr. Giannakis.
Yes.
Mrs. Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Pender.
Yes.
Mr. Sesselberg.
Yes.
Mr. Casio.
Yes.
Mr. Panisi.
Yes. Under personnel, can I have a motion for A, B, and C?
So moved.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Vogt,
Yes.
Mr. Chapman,
Yes.
Mr. Farabella,
Yes.
Mr. Giannakis.
Yes.
Mrs. Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Pender.
Yes.
Mr. Sesselberg.
Yes.
Mr. Casio.
Yes.
Mr. Panisi.
Yes. For the finance, A, to accept the preschool expansion aid. Can I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Vogt,
Yes.
Mr. Chapman,
Yes.
Mr. Farabella,
Yes.
Mr. Giannakis.
Yes.
Mrs. Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Pender.
Yes.
Mr. Sesselberg.
Yes.
Mr. Casio.
Yes.
Mr. Panisi.
Yes. Any public comments on any item? Board member comments? Mr. Chief.
Yeah, I just want to say, this grant for the preschool expansion is a phenomenal thing, and I want to thank Dr. Danby for all the hard work she put into getting this. I just think it's a phenomenal thing what we're able to do here. I just wanted to say thank you.
Doug?
Thank you, Mr. Panisi. I just want to take a minute and kind of expand a little bit on what Dr. Tanzi referred to in her presentation about the outstanding lunch balances. You know, there's a lot of money that's outstanding, and the lunch balance is excess of $27,000. And you know, if there's families out there that you can't afford to pay for the lunch, you really do owe it to your family and to the district to fill out the free and reduced lunch form. It's a private document. Nobody finds out about it. There's no shame in it. But what it does is then the school gets reimbursed for those lunches rather than us eating the cost for those lunches. And it's really very, very important to have those documents filled out. And then there's another part of that is that part of our financial aid that we get from the state is also dependent upon free and reduced lunch applications and people who qualify for it. So it's a very important thing to do. And then the other side of that is if you don't qualify for free and reduced lunch and you're just not paying your bill, that's problematic. And I know that we discussed in finance that there's going to start to be some sort of consequence of some sort or another for outstanding balances. So, don't be shocked when, you're just deciding not to pay your bill, and then all of a sudden, your child may come home and say, I'm not eligible to participate in something, or I can't do this because I've got an outstanding lunch balance and we don't qualify for free and reduced, or you haven't filled out the paperwork. So it's really important. It's not right for the school district to have to absorb, to this point, as of today, $27,000 of taxpayer money for people who just don't want to pay their bill. So I just wanted to comment on that and, just let the public be aware that through the Finance Committee, you're going to see some action taken on this. And Dr. Tansey said that people have been receiving telephone calls and not returning telephone calls. And I think that you really ought to take the time to return those phone calls. Thank you, Mr. Casey.
Jim?
I think just to piggyback on that too, Doug, I think what people may not realize too is we're willing to work on a payment plan even, right? So you don't have to pay the full amount if you can't afford to, and we recognize that some people may not be able to. So even if you're making an effort to pay the bill, we're willing to work with you in that respect.
Any other board member comments? Tommy?
Yeah, I'd like to step back a second on the approval.
Hit your button, Tom.
I'd like to step back to the approval of the sidebar because that is in the union, SPA. I'd like to change my vote to abstain.
Oh, me too.
And that would have to be for any board member who's got a relative in the SPEA. Mr. Giannakis, Mr. Booth. So if they agree, can you change those votes to abstentions, please?
Thank you for catching that. Also, I'm not going to want to beat a dead horse here, but the funds that we generate through the lunch program, how do I explain this? We generate some sort of return on it, and what we do is we take this money with the surplus and we reinvest it in the cafeterias. It goes back to the children, whether it's for tables or pub tables or Wi-Fi station or charging stations or even kitchen equipment, painting, flooring, anything else that relates to the cafeteria. It goes back to the children. So when everyone does their job, pays their bill, signs the free and reduced form, it works in conjunction for the whole district, all the children. And that's why it's beneficial and imperative that we all follow the rules so we can do what's best for the children and give them back any surplus that we have. Thank you.
Any other board member comments? Very good. Seeing none, we are going to go into exec. Resolved pursuant to the Public Meeting Act, that the board meets in closed session at this time to discuss confidential matters pertaining to personnel, student matters, and attorney-client privilege. Be it further resolved that these matters discussed in closed session shall be made public as soon as the need for confidentiality no longer exists. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? There will be action taken when we come back. Just to remind you, we have an agenda and anything else comes out of the agenda. So I can't give you really a timeline because I don't want to say 15 minutes and it turns out to be
2 hours.
2 hours.
Right, so it will not be 2 hours.
Oh, it might be. Thank you.
Well, I'm
Lovely seeing you here tonight.